ああ、僕はもう撮ってるんですけど、これってなんか区切りで切っとく方がいいんだよね。一人一人で切るとか。僕はなんか前半後半だけで切ろうかなと思ってるんですけど、はい、そうですね。はい。あとなんか質問の時とかって僕どうすればいいの？その時はなんか質問者に当てるとか多分厳しいと思うんで、ずっとじゃあなんかまあ了解です。なんかチェアの人とか発表者は多分出るんで、それだけになります。なんかあんま取るのも良くないのかなっていうのもちょっとあるので、はい。
お待たせいたしました。では、ただいまより第4回全学共通教育国際学生シンポジウムを開催いたします。私、発表の前半部分が始まるまで司会を担当させていただきます実行委員の笹川と申します。本日はどうぞよろしくお願いいたします。本シンポジウムは英語で論文を執筆・発表することにより、研究の世界で必要な能力およびさらに広く社会人に必要な論理的な思考力や問題発見能力などを養うことを目的としております。今日この日第4回のシンポジウムを迎えられたこと、本当に嬉しく思います。今日はどうぞよろしくお願いいたします。それでははじめに本学副学長の淡路先生に開会の挨拶をいただきたいと思います。淡路先生、よろしくお願いいたします。
英語で発表する、文章を持ってきたんですけど、日本語で良さそうなので、英語でさせていただこうと思いますが、どちらがよろしいでしょうか。そしたらちょっと簡単に英語で書きます。Afternoon, I'm Toshi Kawai, Vice President in charge of education. On behalf of Kyoto University Headquarters, I thank all of you for joining this symposium. In particular, I would like to express my hearty thanks to the student committee members for a nice presentation, a nice preparation until late in the night. And I am very pleased to be here with many attendees at this centennial memorial hall. The main purpose of this symposium is to facilitate change in the student learning style from passive to active, eventually leading to active learners that is required in a variety of advanced global communities. Also, this is one of the most important principles in Kyoto University education since the establishment in 1897, as declared in the first entrance ceremony by the first president, Kinoshita Sochi. We have received many papers from the first grade undergraduate students that summarize their research challenges after entrance to the Kyoto University, from which we have selected 10 papers through the peer review by the graduate school students. I hope this symposium will play a central role in enhancing self-learning culture in Kyoto University. Please enjoy this symposium. すみません、ですね、ちょっと簡単に申し上げます。これこちらにおられる小山野先生にこういうことをやっていただいたんですが、例えばボケゼミというのをやってますけど、せっかくボケゼミをやってるのであれば、その成果をですね、全学の人に向かって発表する、それだけではなくて、英語で発表するということは非常にですね、学内に、刺激を与えるんじゃないかということでやり始めていただきまして、だんだんとですね、盛り上がりを見せてきたということで、というわけですね、現在は教育院の先生方、気候の先生方にご助言いただきながらやっていただいたということになります。学外の先生にも加わっていただきまして、京都大学の学生さんが、最適な舞台で活躍できるようにということですね、1年生ぐらいから学びの転換をしていただくということで、これがお役に立てればということで、大学の本部そのものをですね、あると応援しておりますので、どうか記念に試していただければと思います。ありがとうございます。
田橋先生、ありがとうございました。それでは続きまして、同志社大学教授の山田先生に基調講演をいただきます。山田先生、よろしくお願いいたします。
for introductions. I'm working for the Dosha University, and my research area is more the past year experience and active learning. What is active learning? So today I like to do this, some very short speech about the Japanese changing structure of Japanese higher education in the new era. That means how we have to develop the past year experience and active learning. And okay. Sorry. First of all, I'd like to review what is going on in the Japanese higher education policy and background of Japanese higher education today. And as you know well, now Japanese higher education is facing the rapid transformations. That means we are now in the massification stage to post-massification stage with the unprecedented speed. That means in 2012 already the acceptance rate of higher education reached 80.6% for the four-year university, and in terms of the 2 years college, it already reached 100%. That means that here comes a question that is whether or not the selection function of candidates for higher education is functioning or not. And the issue of student academic performance emerged. That means the quality issue of high school teaching and learning is a very important issue for all of the higher education field. And here, so as a reflection that rapid transformations, now the Japanese higher education policy changes to reinforce quality assurance. For example, in Japan, there is a Ministry of Education and the Central Council for Education is very important committee for making the policy. The 2008 Council for Central for Education report made it clear that quality assurance would be very strong, should be strengthened. The report placed emphasis on the quality assurance bachelor's degrees and made a proposal to implement the comprehensive reform covering exit. That means the graduation at the time of the graduation, and the content, that means the curriculum, and entrance is the admissions. For exit in particular, it would forward the idea of bachelor's competence. And bachelor's competence becomes very important, not only Japanese higher education, but also the other countries' higher education worldwide. So that the government, after 2008, started to emphasize on the outcome assessment. So not only the Kyoto University graduate, but also the graduate of other universities, including Tokyo University or other distinguished universities, graduate must perform the good outcome. And for the first time in the history, the CC report 2008 made the importance of past year experience. And today, the Vice President of Kyoto University explained that the pocket seminar in the Kyoto University is very important for the changing the student to be the more active learner. The first year experience is such a kind of new concept for changing the student from the passive learner to the active learner. So the background of the first year experience I like to explain because Japanese government worried the indication of declining academic abilities and for example, diverse type of entrance exam, especially non-scholastic exam like without paper-based exam, so that it requires a clear admission policy and emphasizes on the importance of FYE be after entering the university as a prerequisite and preparations. So what is the meaning of the first year experience? It is a new type of education which changes or which supports the transition from secondary education to the higher education. So to introduce or to improve FYE as a formal curriculum of undergraduate education with credit is recommended by the Ministry of Education. And after 2008, as I said before, the Japanese higher education policy shifted to the more outcome oriented. And the new council report in 2011 and 2012 last year was made, and this report is very historic and very symbolic. That is, it says that in the unprecedented, predictable era, how can university play the role of making students continue to involve learning and active thinking? So Japanese universities need to realize qualitative transformation of undergraduate education. That means from the more passive learner to the active learner is very important. And without question, this changing to the style of the learning is a worldwide trend. That is interaction between faculties and students are the key concepts of the classroom. And in the part 2, I'd like to explain what is today's Japanese first year experiences and challenges. This is a model that I like to explain the content of the conceptual chart of first year experience and other field. This whole area indicates the undergraduate education for curriculum and the capitalized. And undergraduate formal program includes, for example, disciplinary education and also the career education and the introductory education. Introductory education is more discipline oriented. And first year experience is a different one, but sometimes includes the introductory education. Or there is a duplication between the career education and first year experience. And the remedial education is very different. Remedial education is for the supplemental education for the student who did not study some of the disciplines in the high school days. And when we look back the decade around Japanese first year experience, I started to do the research for the first year experience in Japanese higher education in 2000. And in those days, nobody knows the existence of first year program or first year education as a concept or the term of the word. But for example, please compare the 2001 and 2007, the introduction rates of first year experience in the curriculum in Japanese universities. In 2001, including the disciplines like humanities, social sciences, and others, total average is 80.9% of these disciplines produce the first year experience in their curriculum. But 2007, on average, 97% of the disciplines introduce the first year experience in their formal curriculum. And what is the content of the first year programs? The mostly first year education, for example, the Phuket seminar is more not a discipline oriented, I think. It is in the general education field and some discipline, some faculties who are disciplines in various areas introduce the introduction of his or her discipline, but more oriented for students from the passive learner to the active learner for learning. And so that the orientation guidance, student study skills, information literacy, and the introduction for majors have taken root in the curriculum. And recently, career education come to be regarded as the new type of FYE. So most of the first year experience or first year seminars in higher education institutions in Japan include the concept or this concept or some parts of the career education in the first year seminars. And the first year programs, including social skills and attachment to the campus, are in this stage. Because without any study skills, students cannot pursue the academic learning in the university. But also, if they are not good at for the study student skills, social skills, they cannot spend a good, happy university life. So that the first year experience sometimes support for the student to be more familiar with the faculty, to be more familiar with the classroom students in the same class. So this is so as a conclusion of this panel, I can say that content covered in FYE programs have expanded so rapidly. And then from now on, I like to show some of the student experience through past year experience based on the actual data. This is a satisfaction for past year experience by academic disciplines. I myself, I have been doing some of the very large student survey research from the 2004 to this year. And total accumulation of students who attended that kind of survey exceeded over 130,000 students from the more than 800 universities. 800 universities and 2,000 two-year colleges. And now we can compare with the data, Japanese data with American 4 years university data, and also the Korean 4 years university data. But here is just a sample of the data from the Japanese universities. This is a kind of correspondence analysis. So please look at in the sample. For example, the physical science students are satisfied with the content of the FYE, and education a little bit satisfied with the content. Education students are satisfied with the content of the FYE. But on the other hand, students of the law or students of the medicine, agriculture, veterinarian, or dentistry are not satisfied with the content of the FYE. And in the middle, for example, the student of information and the student of biology, student of economics, and the student of engineering are a little bit satisfied with the content of the FYE. What does it mean? Probably this data reflects the academic character of those disciplines. For example, why the students of the law or medicine, dentistry are not satisfied? Because those curriculum of the medicine or dentistry are very structured, and they have a lot of things to do from the first year, so that there is not so much room for the faculty to offer the more orientation type or guidance type of the past year seminars for those students. And in case of law, there's a big plus. And law also requires a lot of structured writing for future studies, so that from the first year seminar, there's not so much room for giving the orientation or guidance type or study skill type of the first year seminar for those students. And this is the experience of active learning at FYE and other classes. And blue shows the frequently, and red shows become the second rank, and close to the 70% of students experience in the first year experience or first year seminar or other classes in the first year or second year. On the other hand, student opinion is encouraged for teaching practice or experience active learning style like field work and so on, or student discussion in the class is not so high. And voluntary work in the class or students decide a topic in the class is very low. And this data comes from the 4,722 first year students from Korea University in 2010. And this is also the experience of active learning by academic disciplines. And here, I like to show the comparison between the humanity and social science student and STEM field and medical science students. For the sum of the active learning side, the experience present how students experience the presentation of research and idea in the class, or how students discuss in the class, and how students decide a topic in the class. Those are the three agenda which I compare in this chart. In terms of the experience presentation of research and idea, students of the humanity and social science case, more than 50% of students experience in the class. On the other hand, in the students of the STEM and medical sciences, less than 40% of students experience in the class. And in case of discussion in the class, less than 50% of students in the humanities and social sciences experience this kind of discussion in the class, while the less than around 35 to 33% of the students experience of the STEM and medical sciences experience the discussion in the class. And in case of the deciding the topic in the class, the only 35% of the STEM and medical sciences experience in the class. So there is a clear difference between the academic field about the active learning style in the class. And this is very important, and mostly I suppose that the students from the university may understand based on their experience in the high school. The Japanese high school experience is very different from that of the experiences in the, for example, American college students. The interview data shows that. That means that I interviewed some of the students of the first year or second year students, how they experience the active learning in the class. And they said that many students who devoted on the entrance exam and preparation in the high school, they highly appreciate the FYE in the class. That means they did not have the active learning style in the high school days. They are more passive learners. That means that to memorize a lot of knowledge and to understand tons of the knowledge is an essential experience for their high school days. So in order to transit from the high school experience to the university experience, the first year experience or first year seminar is working for the is functioning as an important tool for making their attitude change. And some students from high school with affiliate university and 6 years of secondary education institution already experienced contents of active learning used FYE in high school. And there are big differences of experience between the type of high school. So it is not easy for the couple to the university who experienced active learning in the high school and who did not experience the active learning in the high school. So there are diverse students in the one class. So it is not easy around 2 points. The 3 is an average. So less than average is a self-evaluation for all students of Japanese four-year universities. In particular, determination learning-related item is very remarkable. And we can say that what is the possible reason? I can say that there is a few commonality and articulation between secondary school level and college level in terms of pedagogy and learning quality. As I said before, the few high school students experience active learning or discussion or more positive learning in their classroom in the high school days. And this might be influenced in this result of the graph or chart. And this table shows how the active learning methods are frequently utilized in FYE class. Now, for example, utilization of questions, utilization of discussion, utilization of visuals and writing, problem solving, IT, PBL, debate, drama, node frame, simulation, or peer teaching. Most of them are frequently utilized in first year experience classes. Only the problem solving or drama, node frame, simulation are not frequently used in the first year experience class. Then why? It can be said that the first year experience or first year seminar are not the knowledge-oriented class. There is a class structure for motivating the student to be more active in the classroom activities, so that those pedagogy or methodology are frequently used in that class. And here is a question. Is there any articulation between first year experience and other classes? This is also important. If they experience the active learning style of pedagogy in the first year experience, if they do not use or do not experience the kind of active learning style in the other classes, how can they accumulate? Or how can they be transformed to the active learning? It is not easy. So I can ask that active learning method or style are not frequently utilized in other classes in Japanese undergraduate education, except to seminar like the Pocket Seminar and graduation study capstone program in Japanese university. I asked some of the students and I did the research from the student survey. And so that from the faculty side, there is too much expectation for FYE. But FYE is not the panacea. It is just one class. So it is very important to connect with the FYE with the other classes, or FYE faculties and other faculties in the discipline. And the FYE function as a support for transition from high school to university. So based on the support function of the FYE, how the faculty must learn from the experience of FYE, from the past year experience to their academic disciplines. This is very important, so that the faculty development is also important topic for all over universities in Japan. And finally, I'd like to show some of the Japanese model. This is a basic model of Japanese elementary and secondary and higher education. The elementary school, junior high school, and higher education. I can say that this is a no-articulation model. So there is no articulation between elementary school and junior high school, and the junior high school and the high school. And the high school And how can we articulate the learning, not the knowledge, the learning, real learning to the university learning? And because why the high school becomes the black box, it can be assumed that more entrance exam preparation is oriented in the high school days. So this is a regular non-articulation model which can be applicable of the most high school in Japan. And we have to think about, and we have to move to the articulation model. That is making articulation for learning outcome goals and pedagogy between elementary, secondary school, and higher education. This is a case 12. That is the class elementary school, junior high school, and high school. It becomes like K-12. But this is not sufficient. We have to think about the articulation from the K-12 to the K-16. That is the articulation between higher education and the high school, not only high school, but also the secondary school and the elementary school. So we have to think about, we have to realize that K-16 model, like the United States, or like the other countries like Canada, or other more Western countries. And in case of the Asian countries, not only Japan, but also the Korea, or especially the East Asian countries like China and Japan and Korea are this model, no articulation model. But now, not only Japan, but also the other countries, the other Asian countries like Korea or Chinese universities are making effort to transform to the K-16 model. That is articulation between the university and the high school or other secondary school and elementary school is important. In terms of outcome, what is the goal of the outcome in the 21st century or knowledge-based society? That is the beginning of a new era in the 21st century. And I suppose that this stage, this important is a good experience for first year or second year students of Kyoto University who will be the active learner or to make the outcome applicable for the 21st century. I hope that you can do that, and thank you very much.
山田先生、ありがとうございました。それではこれより口頭発表の部に移ります。口頭発表の部では、発表者が自分の研究成果を英語で発表いたします。発表は1人当たりプレゼンテーションが5分、質疑応答が5分、合計10分です。次の発表の間に少し投票時間を設けております。発表の進行役であるチェアパーソンは、前半は実行委員の新井へ、後半は同じく実行委員の張が担当いたします。質疑応答の際には、会場の皆様、ふるってご質問をよろしくお願いいたします。通路左右に置いてありますスタンドマイクのところまでお越しいただければ、チェアパーソンあるいは近くの実行委員が指名いたします。はい、それでは口頭発表第1部に移ります。皆様、英語脳の用意はよろしいでしょうか。Chairperson, please start the first session.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the time to start the first session. In this session, we have 6 speakers. The first presenter is Ms. Mayu Hosokawa from the Faculty of Law. The title is, Can same-sex marriage be legally recognized in Japan? Please start your presentation.
Thank you
kind introduction to Mama. Hello everyone, my name is Mayu Hosokawa. Today my topic is same-sex marriage. This is a brief outline of my presentation. My presentation consists of 5 parts: introduction, method, result, discussion, and conclusion. Now let's begin. First, I'll talk about the introduction. Today, 18 countries have legalized same-sex marriage. However, in Japan, same-sex marriage is not legally recognized, and homosexual couples in Japan are not fully protected by law, and they are in trouble. We have to change this situation. So I investigated the condition needed for legalization of same-sex marriage. I predict the more economically advanced countries are, the easier they come to legalize same-sex marriage. Next, I introduce my methods. In this survey, 2 economic barometers, GMI and HDI, are used. GMI is gross national income. It shows how much money one country gets in a year, so to speak, richness of money. HDI is Human Development Index. It shows each country's degree of human development, so to speak, richness of mind. All 193 members of the United Nations are included under the research. I compared these 3 values. Average of all 193 countries. Average of 18 countries which legalize same-sex marriage. And the value of Japan. This is the result. Comparing GNI, average of 18 countries is much higher than that of all the countries. Still more, the GNI of Japan is higher than the average of 18 countries. We can see the similar result about HDI too. According to my hypothesis, Japan meets economic conditions for legalization of same-sex marriage. However, Japan has not legalized same-sex marriage. Why? I think there are 4 main reasons. First, the Constitution of Japan does not expect same-sex marriage. Second, in Japan, there is an alternative legal system for homosexual marriage in adoption arrangement. Third, no one has ever suggested and the Diet never discussed the legalization of this system. And establishment of homosexual marriage system is not easy to put into practice. And finally, Japanese people are said to be indifferent to this issue. And some people may be reluctant to accept homosexual couples. Here, let's think about this question. Can same-sex marriage be legally recognized in Japan? In my opinion, if the present situation were to continue, the answer is no. To legalize same-sex marriage in Japan, we have to solve some problems first. We have difficulty changing legal or political factors, but we can change our consciousness regarding same-sex marriage more easily. To begin with, we have to gain a better understanding of homosexual couples, and our society will become better. In a future study, I want to research about other factors of same-sex marriage. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you for your presentation. Now, we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now it is the time for QA. Is there any question or comment? Please come to the mic stand to give your question or comment.
Thank you very much. Very nice presentation. Just one point of information, really, not really a question. You say in your paper that in Christianity, the Bible does not say anything about homosexual love. Actually, that's not true. It doesn't. I would advise you to check in the New Testament of the Bible. There are several statements about homosexuality. That's my comment. That's in your paper. So I think there's a factual error in your paper there on that point. Otherwise, your presentation and your data were very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Why do you choose this subject? I mean, do you think that the homosexual marriage is important or necessary? In Japan, that even the heterosexual marriage is declining.
Thank you for your question. I mean, but by legalizing homosexual marriage, we can expand the limit of sexual minority rights, and they can be more happy. As the limit of homosexual marriage, they cannot have children, and perhaps legalizing same-sex marriage makes the decrease of number of children more serious, but homosexual couples will, however, homosexual couples will not have less difficulty living with each other, and they can be happy, more happy. Does that answer your question?
You seem to assume that there is a cause and effect relationship between economically successful countries and same-sex marriage. Have you thought about the idea that the cause and effect may be inverted? That is to say that countries which socially don't recognize same-sex marriage are likely to become poorer. Japan's economy is declining. Perhaps you've inverted the relationship.
I'm sorry, but could you repeat your question?
You suggest that the more economically successful a country is, the more likely it is to accept same-sex marriage. I would suggest that the less likely a country is to accept same-sex marriage, the less likely it is to be economically successful. I.e., countries which are socially repressive, socially don't allow change, get poorer or are poor. I'm saying it's the other way around.
Thank you for your comment. In my opinion, same-sex marriage is one form of highly developed culture and lifestyle. So, to legalize same-sex marriage, people need to intellectual to some extent. So, people have to be well educated. In general, in each country, people are well educated. So I answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Now we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. The next presenter is Mr. Tatsuya Iseki from the Faculty of Law. The title is The Factors Determining Existence or Non-Existence of Sweetheart, researching about male students in Kyoto University. Please start your presentation.
Thank you, Chairperson. Hello there, everybody. I'm very happy to see you here today. My name is Tatsuya Iseki, a second grade student from the Faculty of Law. And when I was first grade fresh student, I experienced for faster, but soon, clearly, I was dropped down. That's why I'm here today. Now, I'll speak about that relationship. Okay, let's get into introduction. In our society, some people saying, I know the way to best your girlfriend, but I have never seen evidence or scientific research about this problem. So, I decided to research about it based on social science. It's today's topic. Next, I show you my method. In this Kyoto University, there are a lot of male students who enjoy or are suffering from that. There's the object of my research. I conducted an anonymous survey to them and collected 108 answers. Those collected answers were analyzed by multiple logistic regression analysis. What is multiple logistic regression analysis? It's a kind of statistics. It may sound a little bit complicated, but it's just like growing beans experiments. I'm sure most of you did it in science class of elementary school. In that experiment, from a lot of beans, we can know why or why not a bean grows up. Things are same. In this multiple logistic regression analysis, from a lot of data, we can know why or why not he has girlfriend. This table is a result of multiple logistic regression analysis. It shows 9 results, but I don't have enough time to explain all the results. So today, I show you 3 interesting points of this research. First, the more female students there are in his class, he is more likely to have girlfriend. Its significance probability is 0.009. It's enough to agree. However, surprisingly, it's not true of club activity. My study found no significant correlationship between female members in his club activity and his existence of his girlfriend. Next, the longer he is in this university, the less likely he is to have girlfriend. Its significance probability is 0.019. It's also enough to agree. It may be because that in this Kyoto University, university then does not provide any chances to you. What's worse? In this university, universities are displaying many happy couples near to you. Finally, it doesn't matter if you live alone or if you live with your family. Some related research shows that students living alone are more likely to be accepting his confession to God. However, it does not true. It's not true of this university. I don't know why clearly, but that may be because Kyoto University male students too hesitate to confess their love to their girlfriend. Okay, now it's time to conclude. Based on this study, how can can we conquer satisfied university rates? First, hurry up. As I said, in this university, time does not give you any chances. So don't wait, but act. Second, be more aggressive. If you live alone, you are likely to be accepted your confession. It's simple. No confession, no partner. So, aggressive. Finally, it may be pity for some of you, but it's finally depends on your faculty. So, I don't want to say such a thing, but if you are bound for something cultural campus, you have great difficulty to find your partner. Today, I gave you a presentation about love relationship by social science. I think social science is for real society. So I hope that you utilize this social science and conquer real satisfied university life. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Now is the time for QA. Is there any question or comment? Please come to the mic stand to give your question or comment. Please.
Thank you for your interesting presentation. The theme of your research reminds me of one Hollywood film, Hitch, and you seem to be Will Smith performing a coordinator of love relationship in the film. Well, I'd like to ask you one question. On discussion 2, you mentioned that the longer a male student is in Kyoto University, the less likely to have his girlfriend. Do you mean that you have less chance to have your girlfriend when you spend longer days here without having any girlfriend in your entrance?
Thank you for your question. Your question means that the time he haven't had his partner is longer. He is the less likely to have his girlfriend, right? Thank you for your question. I think most of you understand it as she said, but it's not true. I also collected data about the number he has associated with in their life. So no matter whether he got girlfriend after entrance or he didn't get girlfriend after admission, the longer he is in this university, the less likely to he have girlfriend. So for example, if a male student, the hurdle a male student broke down when he is a fourth grade, no matter how long he is associated with his girlfriend, he is less likely he has only a few chances to find his girlfriend. Did it answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. It's a beautiful male
Thank you for
student.
your question.
Good night.
Thank you. Please.
Your presentation seems rather male-orientated. Have you considered that maybe women choose their boyfriends rather than just men choosing their girlfriends?
Yeah, I understand it. As Professor said, many people said to me, why don't you study only about male students? Why don't you study about female students? But in this research, I decided to study only about male students. That's because in Kyoto University, there are far more male students than female students. So female students so generally speaking, in this university, female students has a great advantage in love relationship, only because she is a girl. If the rate of male student and female students are equal in this university, the result is quite different. And this research do not be so interesting. So in this study, I decided to study about only male students. But Of course, I want someone to study about it in case of female students in this university. And did it answer your question? Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Please.
Listening to your presentation, it's very fun, but have you ever thought about this, maybe the question of love deserves more than a qualitative research? A quantitative approach. Have you ever thought about this to approach from qualitative research rather than the quantitative? Because is it okay to just have a girlfriend, or the quality of the relationship matters?
Thank you for your question. You mentioned about the quality of their love relationship, right? You mentioned about the quality of their love relationship, right?
Is this approach to your theme, to approach to the topic, is the quantitative analysis is the best way?
Thank you for your question. Yeah, that may be right, but to do this research, I have to conduct many data. So in this research, all I can do is collect anonymous survey and do multiple regression analysis. A method is also have left a lot of problems. So if you'd like to, I'd like to speak to you about the method of my research after this presentation. Sorry, it's not. Sorry, I don't have time. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for your presentation. Now we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment.
Thank you for your kind attention.
Okay, let's start the next presentation. The next presenter is Mr. Riki Kuzno from the Faculty of Medicine. The title is Relation Between Brain Working and Breakfast. Please start your presentation.
Thank you, Chairperson. Hello, this is Riki Kuzno. These days, there are many kinds of scientific advice. However, some of them are doubtful and others are unclear. So, it is important to verify the truth. Today, I talk about the relation between brain working and the breakfast. I choose the topic because I feel sleepy, though I ate breakfast. Now let's begin. When our brains become active, when we wake up, we feel sleepy. But at noon, we don't feel sleepy. Our brain is active. So what do we do in the morning? It is, we eat breakfast. Next, I talk about the method. First, I asked to do small calculation quiz to 29 people 4 times a day. This calculation quiz is so-called Hyakumas Keisen in Japanese. Do you know? And I checked the time to finish it. And 4 times trial is this. First, just waking up. Second, before eating breakfast. And third, after eating breakfast. And in addition, I asked to do the quiz when they thought that their mind is most clear in that day. That is section 4, feeling good. Second, I converted the data to the score rate. The score rate is calculated in this way. Thanks to the score rate, we can see the data relatively and statistically. The higher the score rate is, the better brain works. Finally, I analyze the data. This is the result. The result is about the number of people. In 4 sections of each people, I picked up the best section and the worst section and counted. This graph shows when brain works best. The graph after breakfast is the best. Surprisingly, feeling good is not so good as after breakfast. Second graph shows when brain works worst. Most of them is section 1 and 2. These are before eating breakfast. Next result is about average score rate. Looking at section 2 and 3, comparing section 1 and 2, there are much difference. However, comparing section 3 and 4, there are small change. From these results, I conclude that breakfast is important. Let's think about it deeper. So, when our brain is waking up, after breakfast, many people still feel sleepy, but in fact, from the result, our brain worked well. So I suggest one thing, that is, waking up of our feeling is not equal to that of our brain. Next, when is our best condition? Or what is our best condition? In many people, feeling good was not best in 4 sections. Rather, after eating breakfast was better. So they feel sleepy. I also suggest that our conscious of best may not our actual best. Let's go to the conclusion. I talk about 3 things. First, eating breakfast is important for the brain. Second, the brain working after breakfast is nearly the same as your best condition. And finally, a new suggestion is our conscious may be different, in fact. A suggestion needs further research. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Now is the time for Q&A. Is there any question or comment? Please come to the mic stand to give your question or comment. Please.
Have you considered gathering a test result without eating the breakfast for some kind of a student?
Thank you for your good question. This experiment was performed in crowd camp, so I cannot do the data. I'm sorry.
Please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It was very interesting. First of all, I want to ask, why did you choose this kind of topic? And second, it's not like a question, it's like a proposal. After eating lunch, I always feel sleepy. Can you make a theory about this?
I'm sorry. Please speak a little more louder.
First question, why did you choose this topic? And second question, after lunch I always feel sleepy, not the least I eat my lunch. Can you explain this?
I didn't examine about it. However, I'm sorry, I checked only about the breakfast, so I can't answer this question.
Thank you. Is there any? Please.
When you say breakfast, do you mean Japanese style breakfast? You mean Japanese style breakfast?
My breakfast, in this case, the breakfast is rice and salad, such as balanced meal.
Do you think it would change if you started to think in terms of a Western breakfast?
I like rice better than bread, so I cannot change this.
Thank you. Is there any? Please.
Well, thank you for my interesting talk. And I'd like to ask about why didn't you compare your result with so lot of many data which is done by elementary school teachers. So in elementary school, we know that there is many data about this kind of things. Do you know that? So I thought your motivation comes from that, no?
Not in the elementary school. This data came from my circle members.
I know, but so before that, there is a lot of data for elementary school students and many middle high school students.
There are many kinds of data. However, I picked up the data because if I pick up the data, the conclusion is not my research. It is scientific research, scientific advices. I want to verify the truth in myself.
Is there any? Please.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So, what's the definition of feeling good? Because when I'm drunk, I'm feeling good. So, could you please let me know definition of feeling good?
That's an interesting question. The feeling good, I define the feeling good as in a day when they think, oh, it is the most clear-minded. It is a feeling good. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Now we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. Okay, let's start the next presentation. The next presenter is Mr. Takafumi Mitsui from the Faculty of Agriculture. The title is The Study on Children's Catching Insects, Their Location and Companions. Please start your presentation.
Thank you, person. Hello, my name is Takafumi Mitsui. Today I'm going to report my research on the location of children catching insects. In Japan, catching insects has been one of the most popular pleasures for children. However, according to some previous researches, today children have less motivation to get interested in catching insects because of loss of places where they can catch insects. For the purpose of sustaining the culture of catching insects, we need to understand what type of environment is suitable for children to catch insects. My motivation to study this theme is not only my private nostalgia, but it actually has some positive effects on children's feelings and sensitivities. In fact, through catching insects, children's sensitivities to natural world and life are cultivated. When catching insects, children need to know what environment the insects prefer. So they pay attention not only to insects, but also to vegetation and geographic features of the ground. In addition, through catching insects, children are surprised how complex and sophisticated living things are. In addition, children often happen to kill insects when breeding or catching them. So they can also learn the irreversibility of death, which adults often hesitate to teach their children. Now start to explain my research. Considering the range of children's action, it's supposed that they catch insects around their home or school. Therefore, my hypothesis is suitable places for catching insects in neighborhoods is indispensable to make children get interested in catching insects. Neighborhood means where children can go on foot or by bike. Second, in my research, I defined the word catching insects as capturing or collecting wild insects alive for the purpose of breeding, conservation, and making specimens. In my definition, how to catch insects such as using a butterfly net or by hand was ignored because different kinds of insects are caught in different ways. Now, method. I arranged a questionnaire enquete on 44 university students, including 13 women and 31 men, requiring to answer the following questions. First, why did you get interested in catching insects? And second, where did you catch insects? Let's see the results. First, the answers to the first question supported my first hypothesis that suitable places in neighborhood is indispensable. As much as 64% of the respondents said they got interested in catching insects because they could catch insects around their neighborhood. The second question also showed children catch insects in their neighborhood. As shown in this figure, places in or near a human habitat, such as common park, garden, woods near human habitat, and shrine, were popular as location for catching insects. In addition, usually children can enter and catch insects in such places almost freely. Then it's time to be back. Considering these facts, my discussion is what is indispensable to make children interested in catching insects is saving or creating environment for catching insects in neighborhoods. Neighborhood means children can go on foot or by bike. In conclusion, children will have more motivation to get interested in catching insects when they can catch insects in their neighborhood where they can go on foot or by bike. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Now is the time for Q&A. Is there any question or comment? Please come to the mic stand to give your question or comment. So, please.
Yeah, I have a question about why you choose university students for your questionnaire. For questions.
The reason I choose
Yes, the reason why I choose university students for your expectation.
Thank you. I think that's a good question. You mean why did I choose 44 university students?
Yes, because I think if you want to, for some fresh leaders, you should choose primary students or middle school students instead of your university students.
When I do this research, I didn't consider the sex of the respondents, so the rate of men and women are not equal. 13 women and 31 men. So it may be criticized, but in future further researches, the research on the differences between men and women will also bring suggestive results.
I think my question is how to, instead of sex, you should count down the fact of age. Say the university students have many years after their childhood, so their memories may not true as children. So I think this is my question actually.
Sorry. When I choose university students,
Yes.
It's the most easy way to get many respondents.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any? Please.
Thank you for your presentation, but I feel uneasy about this. I feel very uneasy about this. That you're going out there killing all these insects. On the one hand, you want to improve the environment through stimulating children's interest in insects. And yet, if the children take all the insects away, then your environment is in part destroyed, which is not really what you want to do. I'm not easy about this whole idea of going out and killing things.
Thank you for a good question. I agree with you in the point that sometimes children carry to insects and environment that insects prefer. So the differences between children who like insects and don't like insects should be also studied more detailed. So in further studies, such research will bring more suggestive results. Is it the answer to your question?
Well, no, not really. Your answer is not really what I was asking. I'm just interested in the general principle that we're encouraging young children. We encourage young children to go out and kill things in the environment. That's my point.
Thank you your question. It's true that some people don't like killing insects, living other living things, but so it's a private problem. So who don't like to kill living things need not to kill living things. But the main point is finding catching insects in the best way. Sorry, is the answer to your question?
Yeah, that's okay. It's just to look at the choice of your last slide. I mean, I think they're all dead, aren't they? Are they dead?
This picture.
Yeah. They're all dead.
Alive was.
Alive but dying. Are they dead? Are they dead?
Alive.
Oh, they're alive. Oh, I take it back. I am sorry.
Thank you for your presentation. Now we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. Okay, let's start the next presentation. The next presenter is Mr. Kentaro Aoki from the Faculty of Science. The title is, which is really more efficient, self-catering or eating out? Please start your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Parson, for kind introduction. I'd like to talk on this topic, which is very more efficient, self-catering or eating out. And I'd like to talk on this topic. Introduction. Now, eating is very important because we can't do it, but there are many ways to eat. And in eating, we can largely divide into two aspects, self-catering and eating out. Self-catering is a submade better for health. We can take good nutrition with many variety of food, and it has good fresh vegetables and salads, and it has some damage is more work to do. We have to go to the store, cooking and doing dishes by their own. On the other hand, eating out, it has some merit. Maybe can't eat with friends. We can eat with friends and we have very good time with them. And the damage is more cost. We can easily see that eating out costs more, but we don't know what really is. So I like to research which is really more efficient. But these researches are done by previous studies. I'd like to make some different studies. So I'd like to integrate two terms, cost and labor. I calculate the cost and labor per day, and then integrate the two. The labor in self-catering, including going to the store, cooking, and doing dishes. In eating out, the labor is only going to the store. And I suppose that the less labor is more efficient. As more labor means that we get much more tight area. And the result is a cost per day in self-catering was 788.5 yen in Tokyo and 803.6 yen in Osaka. On the other hand, the eating out, the cost was 844.3 yen in, and the result too, the labor per day in self-catering, going to the store cost 130 kilocalories per hour, and I could X, the X means the time for going to the store. And going cooking cost 65 kilocalories per hour, and I put in Y. And doing dishes cost 85 kilocalories per hour, and we suppose that the time for doing dishes is less than 20 minutes. Adding 3 times, we can get the total labor of self-catering. This means the time for cooking, going to the store, and this axis means the time for cooking, and this axis means the total labor of self-catering. On the other hand, the eating out is cost 130 kilocalories per hour. Then let's compare to discussion. In terms of cost depends on many factors. For example, season, weather, mood. Every fish or some vegetables have its season to eat, and it includes more nutrition than any other period. And it depends on weather and even the mood or past. So we can just clearly which of the two is very better. As I showed in result one that the cost of eating out is higher than that of self-catering. And in terms of labor, look at this graph. This graph perfectly means the labor of eating out, and this blue plane means the labor of self-catering. And if the labor of eating out is under curve, for example, if the labor of self-catering is here, eating out is more effective, but we can't know the labor of self-catering. And it is shown in the function like this. Conclusion. We can't judge which of the two is very more efficient. It depends on many factors. And it may be surprising for you that eating out might be more efficient. And using these two data, eating might be more efficient. For future suggestion, I'd like to research family for the difference between the efficiency between family and one person who lives on their own. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Now is the time for QA. Is there any question or comment? If you have a question, please raise your hand or come to the stand mic. So, please.
So you mentioned in your slide, you mentioned the cost per day is around 800. I'm really wondering, is it true? The eating out, you mentioned the eating out, cost of eating out is around 800 per day. I'm wondering if it is really true. You know.
I admit that this data is not so reliable, but I use this data from the Bureau of Labor, Trade and I received this data from Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries of Japan. So I think this data is not, I know, I agree with you. But this data is not very right. This is not false, it's true.
I think you'd better to complain to the Ministry of something Agriculture of Japan. It is not realistic, I think. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any? Please.
It seems there may be a danger of comparing apples and oranges. What I'm saying is that in your first slide, you suggested that the advantages of eating at home are the health of the food. And if that's true, then I don't think you can really compare these things. You need to be comparing comparable products, same food value, same nutritional value.
For future suggestion, I'd like to research this. Thank you for your.
Thank you. Is there any? Please.
So, could you please, thank you for your clear presentation. And I have one question. So, what source did you get this? Did you get those data? So, what is
Yeah.
yes, yes. So, how did you calculate that kilocalorie?
As I told you, I calculate the data adding these 3 terms of this. What do you want to ask?
So, I am not asking you your method to calculate. So, what is the source? 100. So you ask someone, or you get some data from a home page, or
I received the data from Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, and one person who weighs 60 kilocalories. If the person was 1 hour, it costs 130 kilocalories. And this is the data written from this ministry.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any others?
I also have a question, a comment about this, because I suppose this calorie consumption, calorie per hour is totally depends on the weight of a person. So you can normalize this kind of numbers. How can I say? You can show this kind of one numbers for your research. I think it is very dangerous way.
Thank you.
the kind of result was the two catering, self-catering and eating out somewhat non-comparable with respect to the efficiency. But could you find some other aspect that you can do have some definite conclusions? Have you ever tried to choose other aspects when you see that these two are not comparable?
In past researching, I tried to use other aspects, but I think that the two terms is the most definitive difference from the two, because the labor, many people may think that labor is more efficient. Labor is really different from the two, and the cost is also. But in terms of, for example, nutrition, if we get more money in eating out, we can get some good nutrition using the items on the store. So I think that this is not always the true definitive difference of the two. So I choose this, the two labor and cost and research.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Now we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. Okay, let's start the next presentation. The next presenter is Mr. Takayoshi Shibahara from the Faculty of Integrated Human Studies. The title is Simple Boiled Target Model of Ambulance Silence Onomatopoeia. Please start your presentation.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'll talk about simple Boiled target model of ambulance silence onomatopoeia. I'm talked up like this. Communication is necessary for us to live. We communicate mostly through sounds. But in an aging society, it became difficult to communicate through sound because of aging changes and the senses. Using technology like Google Glass, we can make voices visible. If we understand how sounds are translated into words. By the way, how do we translate sounds into words in one frame? There is an interesting theory of phonetics. First, voices consist of vowels and consonants. Vowel is sound. Sound is a wave. Wave can be translated into frequency spectrum. And the peak of frequency spectrum is called formant. First formant X1 is first lowest peak, and the second formant X2 is second lowest peak of frequency spectrum. For example, sound of O has 499 first formant X1 and 933 second formant X2. So it was produced there. And Fujisaki and Sugito discovered what vowel is dependent how much X1 and X2 are. This model is called simple vowel target model. And using this model, we can translate sounds into words. But although we Japanese hear an American story as people, 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 this model didn't get. It is a problem that we cannot translate all the sounds into words. To use this technology like this, so I decided to study this. Next is method. I supposed hypothesis that this change of vowel depends on not only value, but change in value. So I examined like the follow. First, X1 and X2 of ambulance starting was changed, and a new 60 kinds of ambulance starting was made. And I asked 18 Japanese 80 people to choose
how they hear the 60 kinds of sound from 25 options, which consist of 2 part language sounds. For example, papa, papi, papu, popo, and so on. And for each vowel, the context area was drawn. Next is discussion. In that figure, the red rectangle means the graph area and white graph. In white graph, all voices exist. If this translation depends on the value, it is expected that only area of a or e exists. But it isn't. So this change of vowel depends not on the value, but change in value. Next is prospect. There is little data and it is ambiguous why each voice area is located there. So more research is needed. And if we try to think of cultural effect of this translation, bibliographic study is also needed. Hoping that phonetic recognition help elderly people. I end of my presentation. Thank you for kind attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Now is the time for Q&A. Is there any question or comment? If you have questions, please raise your hands or come to the stand mic. So,
thank you for interesting talk. In your definition of the simple, you show the 2 peaks of the frequency. 2 peaks.
Yes.
Down. So, is there any other foil which have the 3 or more peaks?
Yes. Yes. Actually, there is 3 or 4 peaks in this graph. And these are called third format or fourth format. But according to this Fujisaki Sugito's paper, what vowel is mainly depend on F1 and F2, and F3's format 3's and format 4's effect is lower than F1 and F2. So it is important. It is more important F1 and F2. So F1 and F2 is more important to decide what vowel is.
Thank you. Is there any? Please.
So you mentioning the ambulance silence and the frequency domain. I think this is a kind of Doppler effect. So already you Doppler effect. Do you know Doppler effect? Doppler effect.
Doppler effect.
Yeah. So in Doppler effect there is some the formulation in the frequency domain. So that is already some formulation. So what is the difference from that? From your difference, your research from Doppler effect formulation? Difference. I think already there is already some formula in frequency domain of this kind of effect formulated. This effect is already formulated in the frequency domain. So what is the difference between your research and the Doppler effect?
Doppler effect is different. Yeah. Actually, there is a Doppler effect, and this form 1 X1 and form 2 X2 is different when ambulances come to meet or go far away. But this
this research is to decide what boil is as engineering requirement. So I think there is no difference of by after Doppler effect.
So I have one more question. So what's the contribution of your research? Because now you mentioned there is no difference between your research and the Doppler effect. So please make clear for me what's the contribution of your research.
Do you know? Do you want to know what is difference of Doppler effect and between Doppler effect and my paper? Yeah. Doppler effect is mainly focused on the physical characteristics, and when ambient silence come to me, the frequency is higher than when ambient silence go far from me. But I studied in this paper how the sound is here. How Japanese hear the sound as a boil. For example, Japanese hear chicken as kokekoko and also that and Isake Tsugito discovered this result. That is to say, what boil is depends on how much F1 and F2 are. This is from Japanese pronunciation. For example, this O, this sound of O, first I pronounce sound of O, and that O have 499 F1 and 933 F2. Like this, they get data from Japanese pronunciation. Then what boil is depends on how much F1 and F2 are.
Okay, I understand. So your research is kind of not in the frequency domain, in the kind of boil domain. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
Thank you for your questions and comments, and thank you for your presentation. Now we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment.
The development of the preparatory school. Please start your presentation.
Thank you for your kind introduction. My name is Ishikawa Ken. Today, I show the development of the preparatory school. This is the outline of my presentation. Introduction. In Japan, the education industry is growing up. It seems that among the education industry, in particular, the preparatory school is growing up. Compared to other education industries such as tutor or correspondence courses, in this presentation, I believe that how students depend on the preparatory school in terms of educational background. Finally, I propose some suggestions how role preparatory school and public school play in education.
Method 1. In this presentation, I use the data quoted by Japanese governments and private companies in Japan in order to review recent tendency of the society and the preparatory school. I use the data limited in recent 10 years. Firstly, I analyze the development of society, which places importance on education background. In this investigation, I use the data of the parent for education background of their children. Secondly, I analyze the development of the preparatory school. In this investigation, I use the data of the household expenditure from the two perspectives. One is the relation between the household consumption expenditure and the cost on the supplementary education. The other perspective is that the relation between the cost on the supplementary education and the cost on the preparatory school. Result 1. Figure 1 shows parents' hope for educational background of their children is becoming high. So I can say that the society which places importance on educational background is developing. Result 2. Figure 2 shows that households spend a lot on the supplementary education because the supplementary education cost is hardly changed, like the household consumption expenditure is decreasing. Figure 3 shows the rate of the cost on the preparatory school is the cost on supplementary education is becoming high. This graph shows that the students are more dependent on the preparatory school more than other educational industries. Discussion. What is the problem of the development of the preparatory school? The preparatory schools provide students with good education, but household needs to spend a lot on the education. Conclusion. In order to take good education, people need to spend a lot on their education. Students depend on the preparatory school, so preparatory school is developing. But the problem is that people need to a lot on their education. So I propose that the public school should provide students with additional education, such as the suitable education individually and the place for study after school. By doing so, household burden will be reduced and students can get a good education. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. And then it's the time for QA. Is there any question or comment? If you have question or comment, please come to the mic stand or raise your hand to give your question.
Just a question for clarification. Could you give me the Japanese for preparatory school?
Thank you for your question. Yes, in this presentation, I define the preparatory school as the one in Japan.
As what was that?
Yes, the preparatory school is for junior high school students and high school students and so on.
So, do you mean Yobiko or Juku in this case, or do you mean a type of high school? In English, preparatory school is usually used to refer to a type of high school or junior high school. I think you mean Yobiko, which we would usually call cram school in English.
In this presentation, the preparatory school is includes Yobiko in Japanese and cram school for supplementary lesson.
Okay, so there are schools, after school schools is preparatory.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. You're not necessarily wrong, but I think you should clarify in your paper and in your presentation. It's difficult for English speakers to understand because we don't have that system. So just as a suggestion, but thank you.
Thank you for your advice.
Thank you. Is there any other question or comment? Okay, so I have a question that, so what's your motivation for your research?
I was a high school student before entering this college. In that time, many people go to the preparatory school, but I did not go to the preparatory school. So I want to focus on the development of the preparatory school, which dominates in high school, in Japanese high school.
Okay, I see, very interesting. Is there any other question or comments? Okay, another question. So with your research, what will you do in your future? I mean, your future plan?
My future plan is to release that tendency in other countries such as China and South Korea, because that country have a similar tendency to Japan. So it is I think it is interesting ingredients of this kind of study.
Okay, I see. Thank you for your answer and thank you for your question and comments. And then we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. Let's start with the next presentation. The next presenter is Ms. Sai Takebe. She comes from the Faculty of Integrated Human Studies. The title is The Relationship Between Nickname and Psychological Distance. Please start your presentation.
Thank you for your kind introduction. Hello everyone, my name is Sai Takebe. Today, I would like to talk about the relationship between nickname and psychological distance. This is a brief outline of my presentation. Have you ever think about how to create friendship? When I was an elementary school student, I felt lonely because my horizontal one, multiple choices. Figure 1 suggests that people are not willing to be called the nickname, making a fool of them. Figure 2 suggests that people are willing to be called the nickname related to their own names. Now, please look at these tables. Table 1 shows the ranking of nicknames actually called. Table 2 shows the ranking of nicknames not actually called. Comparing the squares, the left is the nickname related to their own given name, and the right is the same. Comparing the squares, the left is different from the right. Equal and not equal. The factor of not equal is the psychological distance. Therefore, these results suggest that the psychological distance has influence on the dislikes, but it does not have influence on the likes. As a result, the fact that females want to be called the nickname related to their own given name, regardless the psychological distance, is concluded. Let me summarize the point of my presentation and 3 conclusions. 1. The nickname related to one's own name makes the psychological distance shorten. 2. The nickname making a fool of people makes the psychological distance expand. 3. We should call female the nickname related to their own given name, regardless the psychological distance. Further research is needed to consider the difference between male and female, and consider the complexity of human feelings. Now, what I want to say is call people in your company that find nicknames, then create friendship, like this picture. Thank you for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Now is the time for QA. Do you have any question or comment? Oh, please.
First of all, thank you very much for your presentation. I think this research topic is very interesting because it is closely related to our usual life. So I would like to ask one question that, are there any previous research on the same topic? Could you please present us some of the relevant research results? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your question. Professor Hagihara found that people tend to call others on the large psychological distance their family name, not their given name or not their pet name. And in addition, he did his research for the relationship between how to call others and psychological distance by using the method of projection. So I did my research using the questionnaire, different way from him. I researched by using from different viewpoints. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other question or comment? I think this is a very interesting topic. You should have many questions. Okay, please.
If I have a class, including you, can I call you by nickname in class?
Thank you for your question. Your question is very interesting. In this research, I didn't research
Why? You said that the nickname makes more friendly the group. The class is one of the group which needs a more friendly relationship. Why not? I can't use calling by nickname.
The participants of my research is almost university students. So if I did research for other participants, including adults and teachers or students, the different result is given. So this result is the result of university students. So I did the further research considering your question. Thank you.
Okay. Please call me by nickname.
Thank you. Is there another question, Matt?
Yes, I have a question.
Please.
And thank you for the first speech first. And I think maybe there's some problem of to give a nickname to some people. I think the people should be divided by the character and the identity. And so some people will need to open their mind to others, but some people will not. Will not. In this case, if the nickname is possible to give someone. Do you know my question? I think maybe when you think about the psychological distance of how to give a nickname to someone, maybe you should first to find out what's the character and what's the identity of the people. I think it's the previous research.
In this research, the psychological response is all or nothing. I didn't consider how long the psychological response is, because the nickname actually called and the nickname not actually called. The nickname actually called is made from the relationship between humans, while the nickname not actually called is not made from the relationship. This is the nicknames.
Yes, I know. I think before the relationship of people, I think you must find out the character and the identity of the people, and then analyze the relationship of the people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question and thank you for your answer. And then we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. Okay, let's start the next presentation. Next presenter is Mr. Koji Nakajima. He comes from the Faculty of Medicine. The title is Ground Fat, a Promising Solution to Japan's obesity problem. Please start your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Hello, everyone. I think most of you have trouble losing your weight and sometimes feel stressed about it. So today, I'd like to introduce you an easy and effective way to solve these kinds of basic problems, which I think the key lies in brown fat. So let's begin. First, the background of my presentation. Over the recent years, what we eat has changed completely. Many of you may know it as the westernization of food culture, but what we eat has changed from this kind of traditional food. Rice, shiru, fish, to this. Looks very unhealthy, but as a result, there is a obesity problem in Japan. This graph shows that people whose BMI is over 25, it shows the rate of that people. And we can see that the obesity rate has been increasing gradually over the years. So this is the outline for today. First of all, I'll talk about what brown fat is. Second, I'll talk about what my research was all about, the analysis of Japan's diet background. And then third of all, from the results of my analysis, I'll explain why I propose brown fat as a cure for Japanese people. But first of all, what is brown fat? Why can a kind of fat be a cure for obesity? You may be surprised by it. Most of you may be surprised by this, but there are two kinds of fat in our body. Light fat is what we are familiar with and what most of us want to get rid of. And its main function is to store energy. However, brown fat is totally different from white fat. As we can see from these pictures, the features are completely different, and brown fat's function is to rather burn energy. And the existence of brown fat in humans was unknown until recently, so this application of brown fat to obesity problems is a very novel idea, and it's thought to accelerate from now on. Then I'll talk what my research was all about. In my research, I thought it was crucial to analyze Japan's diet background in order to find the key to solve Japan's obesity problem. So therefore, I obtained all the raw data I could get from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, which is conducted every year from 1946 to 2011. And then, first of all, I focused on the total calorie intake per day the average Japanese people take. And from 1946 to 1971, we can see that this calorie intake amount has increased drastically, the so-called westernization of food culture. However, what was interesting was that from 1971 to 2011, it has actually been decreasing steadily. I thought this was very interesting, so the next question I thought of was, then, why are obese people in Japan increasing every year? So my next hypothesis was, I assumed that 1971 was the year the Japanese people generally became conscious of what they eat. And then I hypothesized that not just the amount of total calorie intake, but also the rate that we take in each nutrition also matters to such kind of obesity. So I focused on the three major nutrients, carbohydrate, fat, and protein, and I analyzed how much amount Japanese people intake every year, and maybe into the same kind of line graph. And the results from the analysis were, first of all, from 1946 to 1971, I could confirm that nutrition intake had changed drastically. However, interestingly, from 1971 to 2011, after we became conscious of what we eat, only our carbohydrate intake had decreased. This is a very interesting fact. So as a result, our calorie consumption had decreased drastically. So from these results, I concluded that we Japanese must first of all find a novel and efficient way to burn our calories in order to solve the obesity problem. Then I calculated the efficiency of brown fat. According to our calculation, in order to burn 400 calories a day, a 65-kilogram Japanese will have to walk for 2 hours or do aerobic dance 1 hour. This sounds very troublesome considering that you have to do this every day. However, just having 56.7 grams of active brown fat is enough to burn the same amount of calories. And this is a very small amount, considering that this is just 0.1% of your total body weight. So next conclusion. First of all, we Japanese are not so good at controlling what we eat. After 1971, we Japanese generally became conscious of what we eat. However, we could only decrease our carbohydrate intake. This shows that we are not so good at it. 2. Therefore, a novel and efficient way to burn calories is necessary to solve this obesity problem. It cannot be some kind of old way like walking or doing aerobic dance. And therefore, 3. The further research on brown fat can be a promising solution, as our previous slide indicates. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Now is the time for QA. Please raise your hand or come to the next stand to give your question or comment. Please.
So your research is very interesting because I'm getting weight, I'm getting fat. Yeah, so my question is, how can I get the brown fat? Is it kind of an injection or plastic surgery or taking medicine, something? I'm really interested in how can I get the brown fat.
Yes, as this slide indicates, researchers were not sure whether brown fat exists in humans. So only a small amount of brown fat exists in humans. And many researchers are made on brown fat. And for example, one research indicates that we can convert white fat into brown fat. And also, due to Mr. Yamanaga's recent research on iPS cell, we cannot differentiate iPS cell into brown fat. So yes, this also indicates that brown fat can be a very appealing research. And also, some kind of TV program also suggests that if you get a cold bath, then brown fat will be activated. Can this be the answer to your question?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Please.
So I think in your answer there you touched on my question. My understanding of brown fat is that the amount is not necessarily the deciding factor. You need to activate brown fat.
Yes.
So for example, it could be that since 1971, increased economic well-being of Japan means that Japanese people wear warmer clothes, stay inside more, don't activate brown fat. How can we activate brown fat? You said cold baths, what other ways?
Activate brown fat.
Yeah.
So, what do you mean by that question? Sorry.
Well, my understanding is that you're suggesting that increased amounts of brown fat would lead to weight loss, but my understanding is that unactivated brown fat has no effect. So we have to activate brown fat. We have to turn it on.
Okay. My understanding was that if there's a certain amount of brown fat, then some portion of it is activated. So as this the efficiency of brown fat indicates, just having 56.7 grams of active brown fat is enough. So therefore, for example, you can have 1 kilogram of, this is just example, but 1 kilogram of active normal brown fat in your body, and perhaps 56.7 grams will be activated. However, I think that's an interesting question, so I'll add it to my further research.
Thank you. Please.
First of all, thank you for your explanation. I'm also interested in this topic because if we want to lose our weight, do we need to consume this brown fat? I mean, I would like to know how many percentage of this brown fat in our body? Do you have ever studied this? Because I mean that if we want to lose our weight, we have to consume this brown fat. One day maybe this brown fat does not has been all used. So is it possible these things will happen? So I would like to know the percentage of this brown fat. Actually, how much of this brown fat in our body? Thank you very much.
So brown fat only exists a small amount in our body now. Is it okay?
Okay.
And so it is not enough to consume the energy that we need to consume every day. However, if the research on brown fat may accelerate from now on, for example, like injection of brown fat into our body, this kind of medical treatment might be realized in the future.
Oh yes, I understand. So you mean that we have to generate new brown fat so that we can maintain?
Yes.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We still have a little time for a short question. Do you have any other question or comment? Please.
Thank you for a very interesting presentation. Can you return to slide with the calories and the years like decline? This one. What do you think? Why there is this strong decrease of calories intake from 1971 to 2011? Maybe it was because Japanese people diet changed, like in the way of Western diet, like more fats, less rice.
We assume that from 1946 to 1971 was the Westernization of food culture.
Yeah, and change of food culture.
Yes, this was a change of food culture. And also, if we looked at each nutrition component that we intake every year, we could see that from 1946 to 1971, we confirmed that our nutrition intake had changed drastically. This is a Westernization of food culture. However, from 1971, for example, the fat intake and protein intake did not change so much, and only our carb intake had decreased. So I assume that from this year, Japanese people generally became conscious of what they eat. So we're interested in such kind of losing weight. Can that be the answer to your question?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question or comments, and thank you for your answer. Then we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. Let's start the next presentation. The next presenter is Mr. Kohei Hayashida. He comes from the Faculty of Agriculture. The title is The Unclear Truth in 2011 of Nippon Professional Baseball. Please start your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Tsurukawa-san. Today, I want to talk about Japanese professional baseball organization, and I will mainly focus on their secret. This is the outline of my presentation. As you know, baseball is so popular sport in Japan. A lot of people play or watch baseball games, regardless of age or sex. Actually, Japanese professional baseball team is so strong that they won the championship 2 times in World Baseball Classic. Unfortunately, however, the organization of Japanese professional baseball is so irresponsible. There are a lot of injustice things were revealed. Every time, players and supporters became angry. And today, I will reveal new secret of them from now. Before I explain the new secret of them, I want to show you the baseball rule. Baseball rule is so easy to understand. If the pitcher throws the ball inside the strike zone, it will be called strike. And if this continues 3 times, the batter has to go back to the backyard. So in this case, the winner is pitcher. On the other hand, if pitcher throws the ball outside the strike zone, and this will be called ball. And if this continues 4 times, the batter can go to the next base. And particularly this is called 4 balls. So as you know, the size of strike zone plays a key role in baseball games. If the strike zone was broader, it is more difficult to get 4 balls. On the other hand, the size of strike zone was smaller, it is more easier to get 4 balls. So strike zone has, there is a great correlation between the size of strike zone and 4 balls. Actually, the size of strike zone was broadened in 2002 in Japanese professional baseball. This is in order to adapt the internationalization of baseball. And this is the index of my research. The total number of batters divided by total number of four balls. This indicates the difficulty to get one four ball. For example, if this index value is 6, this means that 6 batters will be needed to get one four ball. If this index value is 10, this means that 10 batters will be needed to get one four ball. So it is more difficult case to get four ball. And this is the result of my research. As you can see, in 2002, the value of index is rapidly rising. This is because the strike zone size was broadened. And next year, the value is recovered. I assume that this is players get accustomed to the new broadened strike zone. This is my assumption. But you can see the same tendency in 2011. Rapidly rise and rapidly decrease. So I discussed that the tendency of index in 2011 is similar to 2002. And actually in 2002, the size of strike zone was broadened officially. So I conclude that the strike zone was changed unofficially in 2011. And this causes a lot of influence towards batters' salary or scores. In my opinion, these kind of critical matters should be announced officially. I hope the organization improve their attitude from now on. Thank you for kind attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Now it's time for QA. Is there any question or comment? Please.
So, is there any necessity or benefit for organization to change the strike zone secretly?
Yes. As you know, in 2011, Japan had a big earthquake, and Japan faces the shortage of electricity, so they are forced to cut the time of games, baseball games, by the government. And they have the motivation to cut time. If the strike zone was broader, it means less time should be cut. So if the strike zone was smaller, the more batters can get the four balls, so the time of game continue longer and longer. So it is a motivation for organization. If the organization announced, not secretly announced, they will broaden the strike zone, maybe the players will complain about it, or some mid-players will complain. And actually in 2002, when the organization changed the strike zone, there was some complaint. So they couldn't make progress or something like that.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any other? Oh, please.
Is there any similar relationship or similar correlation to the year with the number of hits or number of home runs? I mean, is there any certain degrees of number of home runs or number of hits?
Actually, in 2011, the number of home runs were rapidly decreased, like half than 2010. So, and in 2011, the time for goal was also changed. Yeah, so these two factors caused a lot of influence to our batters and style of Japanese baseball.
Okay, thank you. Please.
Thank you. Is there any more direct evidence of the expanding the strike zone? For example, we have a tremendous amount of baseball game video, so we can check the throwing path and its judgment. Do you understand my question?
Yeah, maybe actually the organization does not open the all data of baseball games, so it's not difficult to measure the all kinds of details about strike zone. But maybe if I can, I will try.
In your final chart, you show the yellow right here. By using this kind of the data, you can check the path and the judgment.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Thank you. Do you have a... Oh, please. Maybe.
Yeah, a similar question. Have you counted the number of strikeouts in a game throughout the year? Directly.
Thank you. It is difficult to count all games. I watch all games and count all of the number of strikeout balls. It is difficult. And actually, the organization doesn't open the data such kind of things. They closed a lot of data. They only open the number of home runs, the number of hits, the number of strikeouts, the number of foul balls. So it's going to be difficult to measure more detail.
Maybe I would suggest the sampling the top 100, the top 50 batters, average hit, average strikeouts, and average foul balls could be a good basis of the comparison.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback. I will try.
Okay, thank you very much for your question and comments, and thank you for your answer. Now we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. Okay, let's start the last presentation. The last presenter is Ms. Rinko Katsushima. She comes from the Faculty of Medicine. The title is The Sense of Time, about eating familiar snacks and unfamiliar snacks. Please start your presentation.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. My name is Rinko Katsushima. I talk about this topic. This is my outline. After talking about the bulk of research in introduction, I explain the methodology and discuss the result. First, I talk about my introduction. I'm interested in neuroscience after entering the university, and read some books about it. When I read one of them about sense of time, I got to feel interested in sense of time. So I decided to research on sense of time. When humans recall past events, there are sometimes differences between the real elapsed time and sense of elapsed time. Most previous research about sense of time have investigated by seeing things on computers. No previous rest after eating for 60 seconds. After 2 steps, I asked them 2 questions. Question 1. Please answer how long it takes you to eat. Question 2. How long it takes you to take a rest after eating. These steps was conducted by using familiar snacks and unfamiliar snacks. I conducted my experience for 40 participants. 40 participants consist of 29 students, 1 teacher, and 10 workers. This graph shows the results of eating time. This data means that 5 participants didn't feel no differences. 24 participants felt familiar snacks shorter than unfamiliar snacks. And 11 participants felt unfamiliar snacks than familiar snacks. This graph shows the result of less time. This data means that 8 participants didn't feel differences. 90 participants felt familiar snacks time shorter than unfamiliar snacks time. And 30 participants felt longer. This left graph shows the relationship of eating, and right graph shows the relationship rest time. According to regression analysis, people tend to feel unfamiliar snacks time longer than familiar snacks time. However, 0.1601 and 0.1632 are very low. This data is irresponsible. In my conclusion, sense of time changes among individuals. People tend to feel unfamiliar snacks time longer than familiar snacks. So, sense of time is related to experience like previous studies. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Now is the time for QA. Do you have any question or comment? Please come to the next stand or raise your hand, please.
So, why did you select the gumi as unfamiliar snack?
Thank you for the question. I choose gumi whose flavor have never eaten before by participants. So that gumi is familiar with eating. So more studies need to be conducted, I think.
So the flavor is really new one, is it right? So that's why you choose the gumi. The flavor is really deep. It's a kind of new. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question or comment? Please.
Did you have any kind of control group? Any group which used 2 unfamiliar snacks and 2 familiar snacks?
Sorry, would you please your question more slowly?
Okay, I'm worried that people are simply unable to measure time, and that they will always have a difference between 2 things, and that it's not the familiarity or unfamiliarity that influences it. I'm worried that there is no control, so people just can't compare 2 things well.
I conducted my experiments by using familiar snacks. Second, after doing experiments
Okay, thank you. Please.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your presentation. I have one question. I thought there is another parameter of the sense of time, such as the age of the participant. Generally, older person feel faster than a younger person. So I'd like to know that the age of the participant is the same or not. Do you know?
I don't consider participants' age, so but by age, sense of time changes, so I should consider the age more future study for me to be conducted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other question or comment? Okay, please.
Thank you for your presentation. So my question is, do you find any difference between your research and previous research? And is there any difference between the memory-related eating and memory-related world of pictures?
Yeah.
What kind of difference do you find? Or do you have any idea about that? A difference between your research and previous research?
Yeah, thank you your question. Previous research have investigated by seeing the things such as picture, words, photo. But this study have investigated by the action eating. So eating doesn't give pain for humans, so by using snacks, future conditioning is for future conditioning it is important to do experience by their actions. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question and comments, and thank you for your answer. Now we have 2 minutes for the review process. Please wait a moment. Okay, that's all for today's session. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Let's give a big hand to our presenters. 以上をもちまして本日の発表は全て終了しました。ご清聴ありがとうございました。ではここで審査員の皆様を代表いたしまして京都大学国際高等教育院教授加藤達久先生よりご講評をいただきます。加藤先生、よろしくお願いします。
I'm Tatsuhisa Kato, one of the member of the judge committee. I'm very glad to give comments or words on behalf of the judging committee. This is of course the international student symposium. It's the first time since 2010. Is it right? Anyway, the fantastic papers were presented. Every year, quality of the paper was increasing by year by year. Yes, and this year again the quality of the presentation much higher than before. And I I'm very sure today's experience give the big confidence to you because you have done it very well. And for example, the first presentation makes me trigger to think about homosexuality. And the second presentation is a very interesting and interactive suggestion to the love affairs in Kyoto University. Very interesting. And the third one, it realized me the importance of breakfast. And number 4 and number 5 presentation remind me the day of my childhood and the life at Geshiku logic. And the sixth one is very interesting for me, but I'm sorry, I can't understand fully, but I want to know more about onomatopoeia and his vocal target model which he it's really interesting for me. And the second one is I have no experience to go to the preparatory school, Juku or the Yobiko. Anyway, I know the recent situation of the preparatory school. And the presentation of nickname, I laughed at the imaginary scene in which the professor called the students by nickname and a student called the professor by nickname, in my case, Tacha. I laughed at the imaginary scene. Anyway, it's very interesting presentation. And the night, I'm doing some diet to go to some athletic club to swim. So I'm very interested in this brown fat. I want to know how to get this active brown fat. Please find the special way, special tip to gain it. And 10, by his presentation, I can understand why so many dark games are there in the recent baseball. I can get it. And last one, it's very interesting, the investigation of the sense of time by the eating the process. Anyway, all the 12 presentation is very interesting, and the quality of the presentation is increasing much more than before. And at the end of my comments, I want to say, all of you, be confident, climb up above the higher peak, and have a giant leap to the all over the world. You can do it. And at last, I want to say thank to all of you for coming and Student Symposium today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your kind comments to our presenters. 加藤先生、ありがとうございました。では発表の最後に国際高等教育院教授小山田浩二先生より閉会の挨拶をいただきます。それでは小山田先生、よろしくお願いいたします。
It's my great pleasure to give you this concluding remarks on occasion of the post international symposium of the general art and general education. I would like to thank all supporters who give us nice awards. And I also appreciate students who gave us good presentation. I feel that one of the Kyoto University's strong points, the self-learning culture, has been cultivated more and more. And I would like every student to be given awards. But I would like to note that the award is just a clue for them to deepen their research in the future. So I also thank all contributors who took part in the symposium organization and paper reviewing. Especially Yamamori-san and Nakata-san and Miyako. Please stand up. Then, Miyako. Please give a big hand. They are actually award winners in the previous symposium. Yes, please have a seat. This is the actually the fourth symposium. That means the student who gave a presentation in the first symposium now become the fourth grade students. So many of them will become the graduate students. I hope they will contribute to the symposium organization in the next year. Yeah. So recently I found the very pleasing description of this symposium and Wikipedia that says there is a strong bond between obese and OGs, that is old boy and old girls. So I feel that the self-learning culture can be effectively transferred from the generation to the next generation. Yeah. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone who made this symposium success, and I, with all of you, pray for the prosperity of this symposium. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your closing remarks. 小山田先生、ありがとうございました。では以上をもちまして第4回全学共通教育国際学生シンポジウム発表の部を閉会させていただきます。本日はご来場くださり誠にありがとうございました。この後2階の国際交流ホール1におきまして18時より懇親会を企画しております。本日の発表に対する審査結果の発表並びに表彰は懇親会の会場で行われますので、お時間のある方はぜひご参加ください。またアンケートを受付にて回収しておりますので、ご協力よろしくお願いします。